if you're spiritual and you go like this, you feel like a derelict. You feel horrible. You feel like a degenerate.
This is ether.
So why on the internet they say the middle finger is ether then?
That's air. It's earth, fire, air, water, ether. Some people may use it to represent the ether, right? Because remember, what happened to the fire when it get done burning? Where did it go?
Yeah.
It went back to the ether.
Yeah.
Right. And he left all of the carbon, which is the physical byproduct of going back to the ether. It's called ashes. Right. Remember when earlier when I was talking about the orgone accumulator? That's the opaque ether that he was talking about when you say that it's the purest form of air.
Right.
Before nuclear war, see, people think they only think of the nuclear fallout, the radioactive aftermath of a war. What they don't think about is the chemical changes to all of the things that the radioactivity affected. Right. And the only time they pay that attention is when they go to Chernobyl, where they had the most devastating nuclear meltdowns in recent memory. And now they seeing 6-legged cats and, frogs with 18 legs, stuff like that. Now they notice that the radiation does more than just, because you gotta remember, only two things causes a mutation, right? Gradual change over a prolonged period of time, or ultraviolet light bombardment of radioactive particles from the sun. When it's time to evolve, the earth and the sun got to say, humans, level up so that the fish can level up, so that the seals can level up, all the way around the whole animal kingdom. We supposed to be able to read nature, understand how we are naturally, and move in harmony with everything around us. But as part of the byproduct of the entropy, which is the deterioration, you have what's called a negative aspect. Now we going back to Hermetic principle, the law of opposites again. Right. So that's telling you there's somebody good-hearted that's controlling the ether, and there's somebody dark-hearted controlling the ether, wicked at the heart. And they in a struggle, an eternal struggle, right, to establish the dominance of which one going to be in existence after the struggle. That's the story of Set and Osiris, the struggle of the two brothers, two opposing forces with two different ideologies, coming from the same parental source, right? And then the mediator between the two ended up being Isis, which was the sister. And the remedy was for Heru to rise up to the throne, overthrow Set, entropy, extreme chaos, and reestablish the great father, Osiris, Usir, the one who cares for and maintains order among the family. Right? So they telling us metaphysics, quantum physics, then they telling us housekeeping, order and structure of the household. All of that is being told in the same paradigm. Right? And they use the reference of the housemaking in order to explain the physics, because there's more housemakers than it is physics professors. So now you got to be able to communicate with both. You tell the same story, and then when you explain it to the person that's reading the story, how to look at it from their field of study, it changes the paradigm and how they perceive their spiritual growth.
Right. All right, so Rod, so let's go in this direction. So we talked about earlier about empty space, and I told you how I want to stress to my community that empty space is really not empty. So another thing that I thought about when I think about so-called empty space is silence, the silence in songs. You know, this is something that gets neglected, like empty space in between objects in your house. So the silence within a song is something that gets neglected. Bobby Hemmett talked about a lot about the importance of the silence and how that actually is what made music special. So talk to me about the silence in songs and that connection to the ether, Rod. Because when we think about songs, we think about the sounds. We always talk about the sounds, but there's also a sound that we don't hear in our ears, and that's the silence in between the sounds. So talk to me about the silence in between the sounds.
You
Rod.
ever seen that movie Eddie and the Cruisers?
No, no, I haven't. No.
They writing a song.
Yeah.
And Eddie is trying to explain what you just said to somebody. Right? And they got a guy that writes songs with him called the Song Man. So the Song Man was trying to give Eddie and the Cruisers a new song. And Eddie was trying to explain the only way the song would work, we need this element in it. And he said, what is this? It's called a haiku.
Yeah.
A strategic silence in the song that makes the rest of the song more compelling to draw you in.
What I gotta watch? What movie is this?
Eddie and the Cruisers.
Right, I gotta, because I'm a musician, I'm a producer, so I gotta watch this.
Oh man, if you ain't seen Eddie and the Cruisers, hey, but I'm gonna tell you this: once you see it, your whole view on the Tupac situation gonna be like, oh, what the? Yeah.
All right, let's let it go. All
right. Yeah. So, in Eddie and the Cruisers is a movie John Cafferty, a country singer, did the soundtrack to. And a couple of my favorite songs on there is On the Dark Side, which we was just talking about the Force. That he talking about a lady, right? And he said, from out of the shadow, she walked like a dream. But you will never really know just what I mean. Right? She coming from the dark side. This is what he explained, and she stole his heart. So it's the telling of the story by song that makes the movie so compelling when you understand the story behind the Cruisers. That the movie was actually based off Jim Morrison and the Doors. And then they used a writer named Arthur Rimbaud as the conspiracy effect to the movie. Right. And I think it's Eddie. I think it's 2 parts. It might be 3, but I know it's 2 parts. It's really good. And if you like music, you're going to love that movie. Like I could put it in and leave it in for 7 days without taking it off repeat.
Damn, like that? Shit. That's yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that real soon. So let me
teach you about that silence. That strategic silence is often taught about in poetry. Yeah. Like, for instance, if you listen to Gwendolyn Brooks doing stand-up, the last poets, Nikki Giovanni, they all use that strategic silence. Even Maya Angelou. When they doing what they call it, they reading their poetry, spoken word. You will see it. And then a lot of times in old poems you read before, you didn't know what the symbol mean for the haiku, which is the strategic silence. Then you go back and read those poems again and they have a whole different effect. Because now you understand the strategic silence. Right. That's like a little, trying to think of a good song that uses the strategic silence. But I can't think of one off the top of my head that it just stick out where everybody that heard the song would know what I'm talking about. Most of them are friend songs, folk music and stuff like that.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's that strategic silence, because even with you talking, like let's say there could be 2 speakers, Rod. This is a great example. And this is an example of the importance of that silence or what some people may call empty space, or some people may call ether energy or whatever. Two people talking, you could say that strategic silence is talked about in poetry, or you could say that strategic silence is talked about in poetry. And the person who used that silence and said in poetry, yo, it hit my heart. Rod, that shit hit my heart way harder than a person that just said it robotically. So when you said the poetry you use strategic silences in between words and what you want to stress. So that made me think about that. That's how important that silence is. You could impact a person's part. Like, imagine a dude talking to his girl and saying he love her, and he says it with silence in between certain words. Like, that shit is real important, Rob. We sleep on that, man.
Well, the first person that did something different with that strategic silence in music was Marvin Gaye. On the album with What's Happening, Brother, and I forget, it's some of his biggest songs, but if you pay attention in some of his strategic silence, you'll hear people chattering in the background. Right? Because that's the way that he brought your attention to the strategic silence before the next part of the song activate. Because most people don't pay attention to the strategic silence. So you needed the background of day-to-day silence, which is some kind of noise that's not relevant to nothing, playing in the echoes of the empty space, and then the song come back on and give more impact to the next phase of the song. Because now your empty space, it's filled with something, a form of silence that you truly understand, which is really noise.
Yeah, and just speaking of noise, when I was talking to you on the phone, Rod, and I said, Rod, what's the best word in the English language that you could use to describe the ethers? And he was like, loud sound. And I didn't think he was gonna say that. I think he was gonna say some scientific shit, or whatever. He was like, loud sound. I was like, wow, that's powerful that you would say that, bro. Loud sound. That's the best word, the most efficient word you would use in the English language to describe this force. Now, this is the greatest force in existence. And you said sound, my brother.
Look, they call it the Big Bang, but how did you know if it's a bang if there's no sound?
Ooh, there you go. There you go.
No, just think about it. How do they know that a Big Bang ever take place? Boom. Two main reasons. One is it's still echoing. It's echoing on a frequency, what they call a modulated frequency at a chosen interval. And the other way that they know is through something called galactic expansion, which is red shift, blue shift. One is collapsing and the other is expanding. That's what they mean in science. And then in the old Hopi culture, they call it red Kachina, blue Kachina. And everybody think that this is a star when it's telling you actually a functioning creation more so than it is telling you about a red star and a blue star. It just so happened that the analogy of the red star and blue star match so well that they able to explain it to you using two stars as telling you that they are a force you can't see. Right. You can see the blue star, you can see the red star. It's also talking about the tribes, the father house and the mother house, the blue house and the red house, trying to get to the black and gold house, which is Big Mama house. Red Kachina is the one coming out of the red house and the mama's child, and then the blue Kachina is the one coming out of the father's house, the father's child. Right? And in every large family, it's a child ascribed to each parent. Right? Normally, the boys is ascribed to the fathers and the girls is ascribed to the mother. And then you have what's called daddy's girls, where the daughter is ascribed to the father to raise to be a good woman. And then you got mama's boys, which is boys assigned to the mother in order to be taught how to be good men without being fruity. Right? And then you have what's called the royal house, purple, right? The purple reign, REIGN, meaning rulership, comes from the royal arc degree, meaning the matching of the perfect one from the red house, the perfect one from the blue house. And that's how you put together the two keys to open up Big Mama house, which is the bank. Once everything is settled, then it all comes full circle. And so you use the same sciences of creation in order to create, and what we call it manifest now.
Right.
We don't want to say we creators no more. We want to say we manifestors now. Right. Manifestor might work better because it's bringing something into existence out of something that exists, but creation is bringing it out of nothing. But even in nothing, thought exists. Because the thought is the catalyst. It's the cause of it all. It's as a man thinketh. Right? What do that mean? That means let this mind be in you, which was in Christos Isos. Or Christ Isis, the great mother. If you can think like the great mother, right brain, full capacity, and you can think like the divine father, and you are a divine son, you become the son of the son. Right? This is symbolically represented as before the sun come over the horizon, first comes Mama, Venus, right? The pentagram, the divine feminine. On her heels comes Mercury, the messenger of the gods, the one who comes to deliver God's message. And after he get done delivering his message, the crack of dawn, Dawn spread her legs, and out pops Papa, that big old sun that was buried in her underworld.
I like how you break that down, bro. That was crazy. Wow. That was crazy.
But it's also a map. It's a blueprint for the royal families of the earth. It goes back to the book of Daniel, which means the judgment of El. The elder's judgment is rendered in the book of Daniel by giving you a struggle program. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they said they stuck them in the furnace, and the furnace was turned all the way up, and they weren't even scorched. They was able to withstand the fire. The symbolic nature or meaning of that was the furnace was the condition, and the fire was the surroundings. Harsh environment is the way you refine character, but they use in metallurgy to tell you that their character was being tested and that they were being put to the fire in order to determine who and what they was. And they found out when they came out, what? These are the protected ones from somebody. Right? And now Nebuchadnezzar loses mind and loses kingdom. But what happened? When Daniel decided to finally read the writing on the wall, Nebuchadnezzar slapped out of the slumber, realized he's in the jungle among the beasts. Hey, I don't supposed to be here. Symbolic of waking your brother up from the slumber by reading the writing on the wall. In ancient Kemet, we call it hieroglyphics. In New York, we call it graffiti. And if you know the land, you can read the graffiti and you can know what tribe is operating under the modern banner of gang. Them tribes.
Wow.
Right? There's no such thing as a gang. A gang is a tribe. It's even in the definition and etymology of the word gang. They tell you it's a tribe or family unit or family group that don't go along with the status quo. Therefore, they don't fit into the system. Right? And then now the gang realized that the tribe, they reconstitute. We was at war. We got murdered, slaughtered. But we ain't died. We multiplied. We baby kids up in here. Who is baby? That's Big Mama. You don't believe me? Go to New Orleans and ask them where baby stay. They're going to be like, which baby? You mean Baby Johnson? Or you talking about Baby Milton over there? That's somebody Big Mama.
Damn.
And Big Mama kids don't never die. We always multiply because we have to answer the oppression with producing children that's offspring born at inception to solve certain social issues in the general public. if you look at the way that we moved in the 50s and 60s, it's not how we moved in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Is doing. And then the ones that didn't want to obey the ones that were so-called righteous decided to do what they wanted to do instead of doing what they was told to do.
So would you say when we talk about the Council of 12, which is similar to a lot of that particular story from Sumer, the Sumerian story, would you say that Council of 12 is similar to what we say in the Bible, like the Elohim? Like, are the Council of 12, which they say they're the Anunnaki, right? I'm trying to really, in my research and what I study, Mr. Hayes, is that there's so many, like, it's conflated with, there's the Ajiji story conflated with the Anunnaki story, and then it goes into the Bible, like the creation story of the Bible called the Elohim. We would think, okay, that matches the Anunnaki, but then there are also parts of that creation story in the Bible that seems like it's the Ajiji, which is called the fallen, you know, like the story you said about the Enoch. So how do you decipher that? Like, you particularly, when you're talking to somebody who says, well, show me this in the Bible, how do you separate Anunnaki, Ajiji, Elohim? Like, how do you do that?
Well, really, the Bible is like potpourri. It's an admixture of Middle Eastern and Egyptian texts put together in Europe to control people. You got to go back to what Constantine said when he created the church, what he was doing. Right? Not what they tell you the church for, what the person that commissioned the church to be created, right, said about why he was creating the church. There's two different paradigms, right? You can't always clearly identify the difference between a Nephilim, fallen one, and a Elohim or Beno Elohim, children of Elohim. You can't always distinguish them in the Bible because even the word God in the Bible is a whole bunch of different words, right? It's not one word throughout the whole Bible that translated as God. They translate different words in different places to be God or Lord according to the narrative they pushing. So you can't always use the Bible as a cohesive reference. One of the things about the Bible is they tell us to worry about the devil. Tell me who the devil killed in the Bible, and I'll wait. And then I can tell you a whole bunch of people that God killed, and I can tell you where he lied at too, because he told Abraham if he found one righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah, he wouldn't destroy it. What did he do? They found Lot there, told him to leave, and blew it all up. Right? That's a bald-faced lie.
Five.
Okay.
Righteous. It
okay.
Five.
But he got down to one.
No, he came down to 5. Started at 50, came down to 5. Not one.
Okay. Who all left? How many people left with Lot when he left Sodom and Gomorrah?
5, but the wife was not righteous. She looked back, so it was only 4.
Now you're trying to justify the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah.
I'm trying to tell you the truth.
He found 5 people.
No, but one looked back, so it was only 4.
So the only thing he did wrong was look back.
Actually, it was 3. Of the 4, one looked back. It was Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters. That was it. It came from 50 to 5.
So, okay, I'm gonna let you have that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you have that, but you still can't justify the lie he told Adam when he say, "The day you eat from that fruit, you're gonna die that day." Because the church gonna tell you, "Oh, the essence, all of the essence in Adam died." No, that's a bald-faced lie. Adam was still living, and they had kids, so that means that he got lied to.
Adam died that day to be separated from God. There's 2 deaths in the Bible. There's the physical death.
I know the dogma. I know the dogma.
Revelations chapter 20 brings it out about the second death, of which there's no power over, no Holy Ghost power to deliver from the second death.
Okay. Yeah. He still lied to him because he didn't die that day.
He died that day. He became separate from the source.
He wouldn't have had no children if he'd have died that day, because all his children was after that day.
Not physically, he died spiritually that
day. It don't say that. The book don't say if you eat from the tree that day you will spiritually die. It don't say that. It say you gonna die the day you eat from that tree.
Thank you, brother. I see Rob. I've been watching that, man. Thank you, Rob.
But the book implies it.
No, it don't. No, it don't. What implies it is you. Y'all always changing the damn narrative, man.
Precepts. Like I say, let the Bible interpret
Rod is right, brother. Rod is right. Rod,
what about this? I just want to interject this. So if we take the Bible, Elder and everybody, and if we say, oh, they died spiritually, dying spiritually would be being spiritually separated from God. So right. the Bible says, you agree with that, right?
Right.
Well, the Bible says in chapter 4, she's got a child from God. So they're right there. They're still connected.
Listen, man. Just listen.
They're still connected to God spiritually because she blesses the name of the Most High. She says, I have received a child from the Lord.
See?
So if she died spiritually, she wouldn't get anything from the Lord. She's getting blessings from the Lord. They're giving sacrifices in chapter 4. They're doing offerings. That means they're connected to the Most High.
Now, can you admit that you are wrong, Apostle? Watch, he can't do it.
I'm not wrong.
No, it's not that I'm not trying to make him say he's wrong.
I'm not wrong.
No,
even now, there's a sense of separation. The only connection I have to God is through Christ. And without the connection, I have no connection to God.
Okay. And
I was that connection through Christ, I have no connection to God.
So
right. I was going to finish. Just let me finish.
Christ wasn't born when Adam and Eve was there, so they couldn't use that Christ connection BS.
Even if they say that, oh my God, you got to talk to me. I wanted to say something.
Of the world, Christ was slain in Genesis 1.
Okay,
you can see evidence of Christ being slain in Genesis 1:1 in the word Bereshit.
All right. Well, if you say that we were only connected through God through Christ was a sacrifice in the Bible. In Genesis, they do. I'm going to go back to the Bible. We said we're using the Bible. We're eisegeting right now, all of us. We look at the actual text. There is no separation from God. So they didn't die spiritually. In the actual text in chapter 4, it says, I've gotten a child from the God. And it says, if you do good, like he's talking to Cain, she's talking to Cain, to be honest. They're talking to Cain saying, if you do good, then like Abel, who does blood sacrifice to God, then you'll be fine. So there's no disconnection from God. They didn't die spiritually. And that's what the text says. The text says that. Can you address that?
Yes, I can address that. Because of the sacrifice, which is a type and shadow of Christ, who is our true connection. Those sacrifices points to Christ. That is the connection. That's why they're doing the sacrifice, to restore the connection that was lost.
What was the sacrifice?
That got them kicked out of the garden. That's why there was no sacrifice in the garden, except for what God did to clothe.
There was a sacrifice in the garden. That's why they had animals' clothing on. They killed an animal. They had on the clothing of animals.
They did not. They had on leaf.
No, when they left, it says they had.
The Most High did that. The Most High covered.
No, but Apostle, let me just get a word in.
I'm just saying the Most High did that.
No. You said there was no sacrifice. They did kill an animal.
They did not kill an animal. Adam and Eve did not kill an animal in the garden.
Then how did they get the animal skins on their body?
The Most High gave it to them. He clothed them because he found the leaves.
Well, wait, Apostle, wait. The book say clearly, who told you was naked? Because they had put something on. They covered themselves. Who told you was naked? So God didn't even know that they had been told they was naked. Come on now.
They covered themselves with leaves, and it did not cover them.
The next question, sir.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
You muted, sir.
Stop muting me, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm muting you because you can't be quiet when somebody asking a question. So I'm asking you a question now. All right, don't answer. We moving on. Does God have partners, or do God work alone, Apostle? The God of the Bible, of the Hebrew, of the Israelites. Apostle? Does God work with partners, or does God work alone? The God of the Israelites. Oh, now he ran.
I was waiting on that line because he clearly saying, hey, let us go down and see what these people doing.
But not only that, Apostle clearly said, in order to get to God, I got to go through Jesus. So it's Jesus and God working together. You see where I'm going? He always saying, I got to go through Jesus. I got to talk to Jesus. I got to get to Jesus. So does God have partners, or he works alone?
But they never read in the New Testament when Jesus said, why callest thou me good? There's only one good, and that is the Father.
Thank you.
Who art in heaven.
Thank you.
Right? But that's one and the same.
See, he running. I hope when me and you get this debate and you don't run from me, brother. You ain't gonna be able to do that. You ain't gonna be able to run from me, man. I'm gonna show you, Apostle, that with my teacher, I got a good teacher, and she taught me very well about this Bible. I speak of none other than Paul, of course. And you're gonna see, brother, that I'm better than you now with these scriptures. Y'all, hey, brother Rod, they used to beat me up, brother. The Hebrew Israelites, now they run from me, brother Rod. They run from me.
Look, I'm not trying to run nobody away. I'm not trying to change the way nobody. But hold on, I'm saying this for a reason. I'm not trying to turn nobody away. I'm not trying to run nobody away. I ain't trying to track nobody in. I'm just telling what little bit of information I know, and I don't know it all.
Right.
I do know how to say when somebody asks the right question, man. I don't know.
Let me show you this right quick, and then I'm gonna go on with the next question. I'm gonna let somebody ask you the next question. When I asked them about this right here, Deuteronomy 21:10, about the grape doctrine, about the rape doctrine, he said, no, it's not grape. All right. Well, we can clearly see it is. When you go, I said, oh, so when you're going on to war, it's all right. You can go ahead into her. It's still rape. It's still grape. It's still that. It doesn't matter if you're in war or if you're not in war. You taking the woman. It says when you go forth to war against your enemy, and the Lord your God delivers them. See, God delivered the enemy to the Israelite. And the Lord your God, right here, let me see. And the Lord your God delivered them into your hands. So God is in on it. The God of the Israelites, he's in on capturing the people because he delivered them into the hands of the Israelites. And you take them captive. If you notice among the captives, a beautiful woman, God is like, yo, hold on, stop. You ain't got to kill her. See, this is me paraphrasing now. Because you see a beautiful woman amongst the captives, the people that you're killing, her mother and her father. Stop. Don't kill her. You ain't got to kill her. He said, and you take the captives. If you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. You ain't asking her to be your wife, because what the Israelites believe in, if you go into her, then she's automatically your wife. So they make a big thing out of that, saying, no, she becomes a wife. No, nigga, she ain't become a wife because you teach that once you go inside of her with your penis, she's automatically your wife. See the trickery, right?
But then, but hold on, that don't apply to what they call goy.
Go ahead.
In the goyim, they that's not in the biblical narrative of the Israeli doctrine. It's in the Talmud and the Mishnah.
Okay, all right,
right. And they say that if they have sex with the goy, that's not having sex.
Right. Okay,
right.
But let me finish breaking this one down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says, you may take her into your hands, bring her into your home. See, now once you take her, it's called kidnapping. Once you take her, it's kidnap. So you could, bring her into your home and have her, make her, shave her head. So when it says have her, you think that woman want to cut her hair off? Hell no. That's her beauty. You think she want to trim her nails? Hell no. That's her beauty. Have her shave her head, trim her nails, and put aside the clothes she was wearing when she was captured. Take off all of those clothes that you was wearing. Get rid of the negative energy. That's what it's saying. After she have lived in your house and mourned her father and mother. Now listen, you kill her father and mother. Now the person that took her didn't have to kill him, but it's still in their gang. Let's say the Bloods or the Crips, and they kill her mother. You still in that group right there. And after 30 days, right, for a full month, then you may go in onto her. She will be your wife. See, once you go into her, now she's your wife. But here's the catch. Check it out. If you're not pleased with her, if you don't like the boxing, you're not pleased with her, it's not good enough for you.
After you use her up.
Yeah, after you use her up, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave. Why? Since you have what? Dishonored her. Bingo, right there. You already dishonored her by taking her, by going into her. She could have been a virgin by going in onto her. It's right there in your goddamn Bible, man. That is great. I don't give a damn what you say. You killed her damn mother. What woman is going to want to lay down with you when your gang have killed them? And then the excuse is, well, we were at war. We were in war. She was captive. Yeah, she's a slave. She was a prisoner of war. Prisoners of war don't have no goddamn rights, but Apostle would try to make you think she had rights and she could say no. And when it goes, go back up to here, when it says you can take her, I wanted to ask Apostle, can she say, no, I don't want to go, Apostle? No, she can't say that because they will kill her. See?
On the spot.
But see, he's so quick to try to defend the indefensible. You can't defend this. It's right there. All right, let's go on.
But real quick, please let me interject, King, real quick. Plus, while she's there, if some other guy on your gang takes her and grapes her, she gets beaten. He doesn't. That's in the scripture.
Think about that. The Apostle don't want this smoke with me, man. Because what they do, Brother Rod, is they add to the scriptures. They add to it. And I like when you said, that's not in the scriptures. You can't see that in the scriptures. He talking about that was a spiritual death. No, the hell it wasn't. It says that day you will die. On that day you will die.
It's a surely die. That means there ain't no doubt about it. You dead that day.
Right. It don't say nothing about no spiritual death. They added that. But anyway, let's move on. Genesis, do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more about like closer
to
the
Go ahead.
Right. So in the movie Nope, I'm not sure if you see the movie Nope by Jordan Peele.
I don't think so.
I didn't see it either.
So there's these things that were UFOs that everyone thought to be spaceships. However, in the movie, as they found out that the UFOs are Nope, not of planet Earth, right? Were actually a predator-like creature organism and not a spaceship. recently they admitted to UFOs existing in Congress, and they mentioned that they are not sure if the UFOs that are coming up out of that they're coming in contact with are machines or organisms coming up out the sea, flying around, going to nuclear power plants, cutting off and on nuclear reactors. What is your take on unidentified flying objects as organisms? Could this civilization, could it be underwater? Could it be a creature from underwater? Are there any stories of this? Could Anunnaki be underwater instead of in outer space? In Yoruba tradition, we have a concept called Olokun, which is the deep, dark parts of the ocean. That's still a mystery. What are your thoughts? Is there a connection? Is there any ancient texts that talk about any kind of like UFO like objects that come up out the ocean and are like creatures, or maybe they are machines? Or what's your take on that?
Well, go to the Dogon, the Dagon that came from the waters, and they was dressed like fish, right? So we do have stories of people coming out of the water to teach humans on land, but it don't say if they had a ship under the water. It just said that the Dogon came out of the water. That's the fish head god that the Pope wear a hat in commemoration to, right? And this not a unknown phenomenon to experience what people refer to as mermaids or people that swim in the ocean. You still have tribes in South Africa that free dive. Then you got them in Asia that free dive without scuba gear, been doing it for thousands of years. And they say they got it from their ancestors who originally came from the water onto the land. So that concept is in a lot of legends around the world. And as far as them being the ships themselves being an organism, I can't say one way or the other. I have no information to say that the ship itself is an organism, but we do know that some of the ships that's crashed, they've recovered organisms from, because they disclosed it in the Senate hearings that they had what's called biologics, which is the body of what they classify as an alien.
So would you think that, like, okay, for instance, that the mermaids are just fish, kind of like humanoid fish swimming around? Or do you think they might be underneath the water with advanced technology? If there were Anunnaki and like maybe the earth probably went through a change, that maybe the Anunnaki, some of them probably like went underneath the water and created like a civilization there. And now they're like ships are coming up out the ground and flying over stuff instead of coming from outer space, but maybe they're here already in the ocean and just coming up out the water.
Several ufologists have put forth that the beings that we seeing is coming from inner earth and they coming from beneath the oceans, and they present different lines of belief to why they came to that conclusion, right? So it's really a hazy topic because a lot of the UFO experience information has been kept concealed from us. We couldn't cross-reference or research until now. We starting to get access to this information, and then we'll be able to review it and go over it later. But all of the information is still not available to us because they still disclosing in real time.
And you know, recently they're saying that we live in like a dome-like thing. It's that we can't get out of this dome, right? And then when you see rockets go up, it looks like it hits the dome and comes right back down. So would the actual Anunnaki story be kind of a thing where we're thinking that it's coming from outer space, but it's really coming from deep within the earth, within under the ground from the earth, from like a flat plane?
Well, according to some of the ancient legends, the reason they can't leave the earth is because we in what's called a light cold lockdown. The light cold lockdown is the description of what we call the Van Allen belt. The Van Allen belt is the radiation barrier into outer space, and they have what's called windows to shift them from one level of atmosphere to the other. And so the dome is actually the furthest reaches of a torsion field. and it's some kind of science involved with keeping us within the confines of that radiation belt.
All right, let's move on. Hold on, Genesis. Let's get to Meta Williams in the building. What up, Meta?
You got to unmute yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace to you, brother. Good to see you, man.
Meter. My bad. Hey,
Meter.
man. Peace to the panel. What's up, Chief Pontiac?
Peace, God.
Hayes, man. I had dreads, bro. We chopped it up a couple times, few times. But I got a couple of things to add, and it's just to add on to some of the things that you were saying. And it is dealing with the GG. So the GG was stationed, what's that? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and it's a couple areas where they explained about the GG. The GG was in
I think it's
Mars.
Atrahasis.
Yeah, the GG